Hebrews 5, if you're there, say there. Reading from the English Standard Version, it reads, "About this we have much to say, and it's hard to explain, since you have become dull of hearing. For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the basic principles of the oracles of God. You need milk, not solid food. For everyone who lives on milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, since he is a child, spiritual child. But solid food is for the mature, for those who have their powers of discernment trained by constant practice to distinguish good from evil." You may be seated. This is part 2 of our series that we kicked off last week, titled Focus. The theme for this year is focus. Somebody shout, "I'm focused." It's the year of complete concentration and clarity. The verb form of focus literally means to concentrate attention or effort. Listen, anything you want to accomplish this year in 2020, guess what it will require? It will require a concentrated effort and a concentrated attention. It does not matter what it is you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to accomplish lowering your debt, becoming debt-free, if you're trying to accomplish having a stronger marriage, if you're trying to accomplish getting back in school and finishing your degree, or going back and getting your graduate degree, or if you're trying to make a career change, if you're trying to increase your finances by different entrepreneurial ventures, it does not matter. If you want to accomplish anything, then guess what? It's going to require concentrated attention and concentrated effort. In other words, you will have to be focused if you want to accomplish anything that you put your mind to on this year. Desire has never been enough for us to produce what needs to be produced. It does not matter, Iman, how strong of a desire you have to accomplish something. If you don't give it your undivided attention, and if you don't give it effort, then guess what? You won't accomplish it. Without focus, we won't reach the places that we want to reach on this year. And I'm challenging you each and every week over these next 5 weeks to pray and ask God what your specific focus should be this year, because I want to make sure that your dreams and your goals and your visions line up with God's dreams, goals, and visions for you and your life. So I started that last week, asking you to pray daily during this consecrated fast. How many of y'all still on your fast? Y'all working with us in the fast just 20 days? How many of y'all cheating? Yo, now y'all lying during the fast. Somebody done cheated on your fast. But I'm asking you during this fast, during this 20-day consecration period, ask God, what is it that you want me to accomplish on this year? So while you're individually seeking what God wants you to accomplish, I believe God has given us as a collective body, those of us who call themselves the Link Church, to focus on 5 things this year that I'm inviting you to participate in. Those 5 focuses, we've created a pyramid with them. The first one, the foundation, is spiritual growth, focusing on spiritual growth. The second one is focusing on linking people to Christ. The third one is focused on strengthening families. Fourth one is focused on serving Irving. And the finale is focused on developing leaders. We're going to look at all those over the next 5 weeks, but this morning, I want to deal with spiritual growth, okay? Can I get about 7 people to be in my amen in this corner this morning? 7. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3. They're like, I don't know. You talking about spiritual growth. I don't know if I want to volunteer for it. Can I get 4 more in my spiritual corner? Jay, she got me. Okay, I got my 7. Let's see if they hang on in there. How many of you remember when you were little and mom or dad, they used to measure your growth on the wall with the pencil marks? Y'all remember that? Am I the only one? Okay, 4 of us had normal homes, okay? The rest of you, I apologize. But every now and then, and typically it may happen on your birthday year, your parents would take you, usually they did it in the kids' room, okay, maybe it was on the inside of the closet, or like me, I had a Michael Jordan poster on the inside of my door. Michael Jordan poster, the GOAT, the greatest basketball player of all times to ever live. There will never be another, okay? Just want to make sure that's clear in Jesus' name. Okay, so I had the Michael Jordan poster on the inside that had measurements, and they had, my dad would take me in there typically on our birthday, and see and write down the date and the height, okay? And it was amazement for me and probably any other kid who was able to experience that, to see your growth from year to year. You'll be able to look and you'll see, 4 years ago you were this tall, and then now you're 9, and now you're this tall. There was some type of excitement and amazement that came from that, and I'm pretty sure it was as well for the parents. But every now and then, there would probably be a parent who took their child onto that same wall where every year they marked, and they would notice that there was no growth. Every now and then. So while so many kids would be able to see their growth and be excited from that test, every now and then there would be some child and some parent who saw no growth. And obviously, as a caring parent, what would you do? You would take your child to the doctor, right? And you would find out, why in the world is my child 8 years old and they have not grown since they were 7? They have not grown since they were 6. And every now and then, the doctor would have to, the pediatrician would have to diagnose them with something that's called delayed growth. Why? Because there's an expected range per age group that a child's height should be. And when a doctor looks and says, hey, that this particular child does not fall in the height range for that particular age group, then they can be diagnosed with delayed growth. Not only that, but you can actually be the right height, but based on what you were the year before, the pediatrician could say that even though you're the right height now, when we look at the progression over the past few years, your growth rate has slowed down. So even though the child looks to be the right height, because the growth rate has slowed down, the doctor, the pediatrician, could still diagnose them with the disease or the name or title, delayed growth. So you can have one kid who's under height be diagnosed with delayed growth, and you can have another kid who's diagnosed with it, and even though they look like they're the right height, it's because their slow progression is not quite the standard that it should be with that age group. I wonder if any of us had a spiritual checkup by a spiritual doctor, what would we be diagnosed with? So today, as a title, I want to pose my title as a question: what's your diagnosis? If today we did a checkup, would you be diagnosed as healthy and growing as a believer, or would you be diagnosed with delayed spiritual growth? Yeah, today is that type of day where you're going to examine yourself, because I believe, like the pyramid is set up, that our spiritual growth should be a foundational focus for the year of 2020. And I believe that the reason why some of us did not accomplish everything that God wanted us to accomplish in 2019 is because spiritual growth was not a concern for us. Spiritual growth was not a focus for us. But guess what? We wouldn't be the first person, or we wouldn't be the first church. Why? Because this group, this Hebrew church, the writer, who we have no name for, we do not know who he was, but we do know that from contextual clues that he had a relationship. He knew the church right there, that Hebrew church, and he diagnosed them with spiritual delayed growth. When we look at these 5 or 6 verses, I believe it gives us a glimpse of how God views spiritual growth. So I want to share a couple of principles today about spiritual growth that I hope aligns us and allows us to put an additional effort, to put a focus on that for this year. First, I want to let you know that the overall assessment of these texts lets us know something that's very powerful, and that's you can be a Christian yet not growing spiritually.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed.
You can be saved. You can be a believer. You can have the Holy Ghost. You can speak in tongues. You can be on the praise team. You can be on the cleaning team. You can be on the children's team. And yet, guess what? You can still be in a state where you are not growing spiritually. You can still be in a state where you're diagnosed as a person who has delayed spiritual growth. Wow. The crazy thing about this is that this writer was writing to an entire church. So that's how we know you can be in church. Because when the authors wrote these letters, like Paul and like Peter, when they wrote the letters to the church. Well, because the letters would be read in church. There email where it was all sent out to the people's houses and to their computers. There wasn't no printer copiers where they would print out 50 copies and mail them to everybody. The only way you would even hear this message, Tasha, is if you were at church. These were church people who were not growing in Christ. You can be, the whole church can be in a place of delayed spiritual growth. Can we work this text? How in the world can you go to church and yet still not grow? He gives us that diagnosis, and he gives us the problem in verse 11. He said, about this we have much to say, and it is hard to explain, since you have become dull of hearing. He lets us know that the reason why some of us are not growing spiritually is because we have become dull of hearing. I don't know what that means. The NIV says, because you no longer try. While this EAV says you have become dull of hearing, the NIV version says you no longer try.
Oh my God. Wow. Come on, Pastor.
The first word I really want us to look at before we even look at dull is the word become. Become means what? You weren't always like this. You weren't always. So he's writing to a church that at one point they were growing, but something happened in their life. I want to ask you the question. If you already realize that you're the person, you're one of the people in this place that has spiritually delayed growth, what happened that caused you to digress? What happened that caused you to lose your focus? Because I believe that almost every person in this building at one time, you were completely focused on growing spiritually.
Oh, yeah.
But something happened. And the writer does not acknowledge what happened, or I'm sure if he had the spiritual insight to even decree that they were spiritually digressing, then he probably knew what the purpose was. But I believe that sometimes God leaves things out because we'll try to compare that situation to our situation. So I think he left it open because there are so many things that can happen in our life that will cause us to go backward. But I believe that if we can make a commitment in 2020 that God, no matter what I go through, I will not stop worshiping you. I will not stop loving you. I will not stop praying. I will not stop faith. We could get a church of people that said it does not matter if I lose my job, I'm still going to open up my Bible every day. And it does not matter if I can't pay my bills when I want to pay my bills, I'm still going to get down on my face and pray that day. If we can get some people that will still push their plate back, even though things aren't going well in their marriage, even though we find out that somebody we love has passed away, if we can say, regardless of what I go through, I'll still let God be number one in my life. I can only imagine what he can do in that person's life and through that person's life. But somehow, some way, this church allowed their experience, situations, circumstances to cause them to go backwards. Let me say this so that we all on one accord with this. There is no stand still in your spirituality. Imagine this. As believers, we're swimming in a river, a current moving river. That's what it is, right? Because as a believer, it's hard sometimes, right? Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? Because we're fighting. We're fighting against nature, right? Because our nature is to be in sin, right? We have a sin nature. Our nature is not to follow God. Our nature is to want to get drunk. Our nature is to want to please our flesh and sleep around. Our nature is to want to do all of these things that God says don't do, right? That's our nature, okay? So when we try to come out of that as believers and try to walk like Christ and try to let this mind be in you, that's also, when we try to do that, we're fighting, we're swimming against the current. And it takes work, it takes effort, and what happens the moment you stop swimming in the current controls you. See, there is no treading water in a strong current. It's impossible to tread water in a strong current. You either swim against the current to keep moving forward, or you're controlled by the current. And that's what some of us did not realize. Is that you are either growing or you are either declining.
Pastor.
And this was a church. This Hebrew church, mother, was in decline. So they weren't always like this. He says, you become dull. That word dull, it literally means sluggish, slow, and lazy.
Come on.
They became lazy in regards to growing. Look at yourself and say, are you lazy? Your blessing is on the way. Amen. Turn around 7 times and say it's coming down. Lazy, lazy. And it's funny because it's like when it comes to being lazy, our spirituality is like on the top of the list. It's like on the top of the list. So the question is, the examining question is, did I become lazy in 2019 in my spirituality? When it comes to spiritual growth, what does that look like, becoming lazy? It means that I used to read my Bible on schedule, and now I read it when I can. It means that on lunchtime, I used to read Psalms and Proverbs every day on lunchtime, but now I just spend my time on social media. It's less effort, takes no thought. I used to get up in the morning and at least just spend 5 minutes on my knees in prayer, thanking God that I made it through another night. But now, I just do it on the way to work. And I've been woke for an hour already. Hold on, I've been woke for an hour, and what I've done in that hour, I woke up. The first thing I did was check my page to see how many people liked my post from yesterday. See if I went up, because when I went to bed, I had about 70 likes, so I wanted to see if I got to 150 this morning. That's the first thing, right? That's the most important thing right now. I need to make sure that post got some likes, Yvonne. Okay? So I did that when I first got up. And then I went in. Hopefully you brushed your teeth. Hopefully you took a shower. Okay? So I'm like, I take showers at night. Okay? If that worked for you, that's good. Then you ironed your clothes. Then you was jamming Steve Harvey back in the house. Okay? We good. He back. And then you got in the car and then you decided to tell God, thank you. How do we go from getting straight down after being on our knees to waiting to an hour later when we got in the car? Lazy. Some of you used to pray at night. Before you go to bed, you used to read the scripture, you used to pray at night. Some of you used to come to Bible study on Thursday night. You used to. Some of you used to come to Bible study. I'm not talking about here. Maybe it was before you got here. Maybe at your own, maybe 10 years ago. Right? Maybe this was 10 years ago. Some of you remember in college. Some of you remember in college when you were part of the college ministry, and you were going to the concerts, and you were going to the worship nights, and you were going to the revival, and y'all were on fire for God, but you got lazy. Now it's been 10 years. It's been, for some of us, it may have been 20 years. You could have been in this state of slumber and laziness, and now this dole of hearing, of spiritual digression. Because we got lazy. One thing that I'm happy about, that it does not matter where we are, God has the grace. God has the grace and the power to change us from where we are in any place that I thought at least 7 people was going to be kind of excited about that. That anywhere we are, God can bring us back. Thank God for the conviction that Peter received when he denied Christ. Yet not long after that, he led thousands to Jesus Christ on the day of Pentecost, because he did not give up. So it does not matter if you came in here and you had no desire, you've been lazy, you've been dull of hearing. God had the grace, the mercy, the power to forgive, and the power to resurrect me, even though I may be walking in a dead state, in a sleep state right now. I'm so grateful that I was studying on that delayed growth. Before it even got into the symptoms and all of those things and how to get out of it, it said that if you catch it early enough, catch it early enough, there's a possibility that it can be reversed.
All right.
So let's see. There's three things. For though by this time you ought to be teachers. You don't like what I'm saying up there, buddy? For though by this time you ought to be teachers. Okay. So I believe that these 10 words expose at least 3 powerful truths of God's revelation and illumination about spiritual growth. One is God expects us to grow spiritually.
Yes. Amen.
God expects us. I want to hear you say it. Repeat that after me. God expects me to grow spiritually. One more time. I need you to emphasize that me. God expects me to grow spiritually. Listen, God never intended for us to be born again and then stay babies.
Come on, man.
How would you feel if you had a 12-year-old that was still acting like he or she was 2? Some of y'all like, that burns me up right now because I'm experiencing that. Or I've been there and done that. And others, you're on your way, okay? Right now, my daughter's 9 years old, and sometimes I think she forgets. I think she forgets that she's 9 years old, and guess what, Terica? Nothing burns me up more than when my 9-year-old wants to act like my 2-year-old. I have to check her. I have to say, you are not 2. You are 9 now. It's time for you to start driving and buying groceries. Not running and crying about snacks. Is that a little too fast? Bring it back in, rein it in, okay? Maybe not buying groceries, maybe just cutting the grass, okay? We'll settle for the grass cutting and then we can get to the groceries in 2 years. But sometimes I wonder how God really looks at us. Now we know God is this gracious God and God is this merciful God, but also the text shows us that there was an expectation because the writer, which is a representative of God, speaking the mouth of God to the church, lets them know that by now you ought to be at a place that you're not. So there was an expectancy of growing spiritually, and they did not meet that expectation. Spiritual growth, for one thing, it's a command, it's not a suggestion. You know, I think sometimes, brother, that we misunderstand the Bible. We think that the majority of what Paul wrote to us and Peter wrote to us and the other authors wrote to us, we think those are suggestions. like suggestions like, don't lie. Like that's just a good principle to live by. No, it's a command. Don't cheat.
Right.
On your taxes that you're about to file. Okay? Y'all know I got to give you that word. Every year you need to stop lying on your taxes.
Right.
That is not a business that you have. That is a hobby. You made $17 last year. And you on your income tax talking about 2 rooms, 2 offices, and writing off your cell phone and writing off your car. You ain't even used the car to go get the ingredients you use. You bought it off of Amazon. How you writing off the car? Okay. Cheated. The Bible does not give us suggestions. The Bible gives us commands. Peter wrote in 2 Peter 1:5-8, let me read this. He says, for this very reason, make every effort to supplement your faith. What does that mean? To add to it. How do you add to something? Okay? Supplement your faith. It takes work to add to something. If you got skin and bones, if you want to add muscle to it, guess what? It requires effort. It requires concentration, attention, and effort. It requires focus. What Peter was literally saying is you need to be focused on adding to your faith. Yeah. Well, you need to be focused on spiritual growth. Add to your faith virtue. And with virtue, knowledge. And with knowledge, self-control. And with self-control, steadfastness. And with steadfastness, godliness. And with godliness, brotherly love or brotherly affection. With love. He says, make every effort. This was not a suggestion. This was a command. We are commanded to grow spiritually. You got to get this if you don't get nothing else. That in 2020, God is commanding you to focus on your spiritual spiritual growth. He is tired of you being a 12-year-old Christian walking around like you're a newborn believer. Still struggling with stuff at 15 years old in the spirit realm that you should have overcome when you was 2. Listen, where you are spiritually really determines how God can use you. Amen. That's my second point. Let me give it to you. Your spiritual growth determines how God can use you. Ask Moses, if Moses never grew spiritually, you think he would have been able to lead the children of Israel out of slavery? There was a specific spiritual level that he had to be at. If David never grew spiritually, you think he would have been able to defeat the giant? You think that he would have made it to the castle if he never grew spiritually? If the Hebrew boys had not grew spiritually, what would have happened when King Nebuchadnezzar came to them and said, bow down, or we're going to put you in the fiery furnace? What do you think would have happened if they were not at a place spiritually? The reason why some of us will never make it to the castle is because we cannot handle what comes with the castle. Why? Because of where we are spiritually. Listen, catch this. Write it down if you have to. Destiny is produced from the root of your spiritual life. Destiny is produced from the root of your spiritual growth. The writer of Hebrew said that they should have been teachers. Literally, they should have been helping others grow. But they couldn't. Why? Because what they should have been teaching others, the rudimentary element, the Bible says, the writer of Hebrews said, the elementary teachings of Christ, they couldn't teach other people because they had to be taught. He said, you should have been teaching, you should have been a Sunday school teacher, but you got to come in here and learn about how not to steal and cheat. He said, you should be teaching the children, but you got to come in here and learn about fasting and praying. You should be out there running your own Bible study on your job, but you can't because you are not spiritually mature enough. Somebody say, I'm focused on spiritual growth. Listen, God's assignment is based more on where you are spiritually than where you are intellectually. Wow. Ask Andrew, Peter, James, John. What did they have in common, Terica? They were all unlearned fishermen. And God called them to change the world. They didn't have a degree. They didn't go to Bible college. They weren't trained with the Pharisees or the Sadducees. God did not go and choose them. He chose the people who all they knew was how to put a worm on a hook and throw it in the water and said, that's good enough for me as long as they love me. That's good enough for me as long as they got a passion for serving me. God says, I'd rather have your heart first and then your mind. I think some of us, we're too focused on trying to give him our mind. 3 degrees, 2,000 books a year, 19 conferences. But God says, I'm not first. You can't persuade me with knowledge. Because I'll take a fisherman and give him all the knowledge he needs in the pearl room. I'll take an unlearned man and give him all the knowledge he needs while he's pushing his plate back and fast. Because there's something that you won't get out of a book. There's something that you won't get from a preacher. There's something that will only come when you're on your face crying out to God, saying, show me what man can't show me. Reveal to me what a book can reveal to me. What are we missing out on? Because of where we are spiritually. Some of us would have avoided so many messed up, jacked up relationships if we were where we needed to be spiritually. I remember, you know, back when I was single and me and Danny, we go to a lot of singles conferences. We weren't even dating, we were friends before we were dating, right? So it was a nice group of young bucks. We always go to conferences and singles events and all these different things like that. And I used to hear a lot of, the preachers would say, this horrible relationship that you and God was preparing you and training you, and we all jump up and shout, ah! And I'm like, no, now that's foolishness. God does not put you in an abusive relationship to teach you a message.
No, that's right.
God does not put you in relationships with a man or a woman that's pushing you and leading you in the sin and pushing you away from Christ to teach you a lesson. But the problem is, we were not spiritually mature enough to hear God. Some of us, we didn't even seek God about the relationship. Oh, y'all singles, I'm trying to teach you something. Avoid some of the stuff that some of us dumb married folks went through. Okay? We didn't even pray about the relationship. We just saw what they had on, saw how they looked, and find out where they worked, and then we was like, that's good enough for me. We could have avoided so much hell if we had sought God. But because we were not where we needed to be spiritually, we couldn't even hear God when he showed us the devil in the red dress. All we could see was the dress. We couldn't even see the horns. All you could smell was the cologne and the suit. You couldn't even see the horns.
Oh my God.
Why? Because of where we were spiritually. But number two, your spiritual growth determines how God can use you. It's going to have to be a focus this year, right? Because there's an old saying that we used to say that there's a different devil on every level. God needs to know that you can handle the devil on that level that you want to get to. We all want to get to another level. You want to get to another level in your business. I want to get to another level in ministry. You want to get to another level in your career. But guess what? There's a bigger devil on that level that wants to take you out. And God cares so much about us that he'll keep you on the low level. Yeah, right. Just because you can't handle what's on the next level spiritually. Right. Okay. Last point. For though by this time you ought to be teaching. What's our last point we get from those 10 words? Is last one 3. God has an expected time frame for our spiritual growth. Let me deal with this quickly, and then we're going to pray. And we're going to seek God. We're going to seek God. God has an expected time frame for our spiritual growth. Think about that. The writer says, for though by this time means literally the day that he was writing that message, they should have been at a spiritual place that they weren't. So obviously this was something that God had divinely revealed to the author, that the spiritual state they were in, they should have already grown from. Guess what? I hate to be the one to tell you, but at some point, you ought to be victorious in the thing that you're struggling with right now. There's an expectation. My son is about to turn 3. There's an expectation that he should be walking by now. And if he's not walking by now, then something's wrong. Okay? That's the expectation that has been declared. God has declared that I don't necessarily know the expectation for everything in your life, but if you just pray, some of you already know that the thing that's defeating you right now, you know that you should have already overcome, but you are not focused on spiritual growth. Some of you know you should be delivered already from that. Some of you know that you should be free already from that. Now I'm big on you not judging people, right? Because I think the older church, not everybody, but some, ran new believers away. Because they didn't give them enough time to grow. Because they would wait a week. You came in, you got saved on Sunday, and you was a smoker, a drinker, and you lived with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and if you came back the next Sunday and you were still smoking, drinking, living, then you was fake. It wasn't real. You need to get saved all over again. I don't believe that. I believe some stuff takes some time, okay? But guess what? Some stuff don't take 15 years. And that's the issue, okay? This obviously was a period of time where they should have been in a place spiritually that they could do something that they weren't qualified or capable to do at this moment. And some of you, you're not even fighting the stuff that you say that you're trying to overcome. We come down to the altar and it's like, God, free me from this, free me from him, free me from her, free me from that. And then we go right back to the thing that aids in it. The question is, do you really want to go? That's the first question right there. It's like been in a relationship with somebody that you've been dating for like 6 or 7 years and they still ain't proposed? It's like, hold on. Before we go any further, let's talk. Do you really want to marry me? Do you really? Then we'll talk about the proposal and what kind of ring I want. But right now, all I know is it's been so long and you have yet to propose. Do you really want to marry me? And I think that's the first question that some of us in the building need to answer. Not to me and not to your neighbor, but you need to answer to God. Do you really want to grow spiritually this year? Is that something that's important to you? Because if it's not important to you, now we got a whole other sermon to preach. But then is there somebody in the building that says, yes, I get it. I was the lazy person in 2019, 2018. I was the person that digressed. I was the person that used to come to Bible study and now I don't come no more. I was the person that used to tithe and now I don't tithe no more. I was the person that used to fast and now I don't fast no more. I was the person that used to share Jesus Christ with my coworkers and now I don't do it. If that's you, you acknowledge it and you say, okay, God, I'm ready to get back to the place where I used to be. Yeah. This year, God, I commit to being focused. It starts with the diagnosis. And that's the question. What's your diagnosis? Amen. Because I promise you that if spiritual growth is not a focus this year, all the other stuff that you want to focus on, it will not reach its peak. Amen. Am I saying that you won't have any success? That's not what I'm saying. Am I saying that nothing you try to do is going to work? That's not what I'm saying. Because God reigns on the just and the unjust. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to live a life that depends on God's grace blessing me. But I want to live a life where God is obligated to bless me. Because I'm living the word of God. Because I'm a prayer. Because I'm a faster. Because I'm a worshiper. I want God to be able to say, I owe him a blessing. I owe him another day. I owe him in favor. I owe him anointing. I don't want to fall into that category of raining on the unjust. I want to fall into the category where I fulfill my part and now God is obligated to fulfill his. If you're in the building, I want you to stand to your feet if you're capable. Today's a brand new day, and you're making a recommitment to focus on spiritual growth. I want you to come down to the altar now. I want you to come down to the altar now. I'm not laying hands on you. This is for you. This is not for me. I want you to come down to the altar now. You're making a commitment.